Hold fast and brace for the storm of swords. My friends, now is not the time for fear. Now is not the time for panic. Now is the time to fight. The days of living in fear, the days of self-doubt, the days of depression and all of that, those are all over. This is a new America, and this is a new world. And this is the world that you're creating by your actions. I had to make a video tonight because I started seeing a lot of people all over the internet posting about how they feel about what happened in Nevada. You have a lot of Bernie supporters who are, overreacting. Some are, and I think it's just because we're still in shock at the defeat. But it got me thinking. And then once I started thinking some more, then the perspective became clearer. Which one of you, who here, thought that this was going to be easy? Did you for 1 second believe that Bernie Sanders was just going to walk up, take on the most powerful name in politics, take on the establishment, and just win in all 50 states? That was never going to happen. And we all know that. And that's not a reason not to fight or to give up. We accomplished something amazing tonight. And what we accomplished is something that the establishment has realized. They'll brag about it and they'll party about it for the next couple of days. But we fired a shot tonight. Now let me explain. In the 2008 elections, Barack Obama lost Nevada by 6 points. Barack Obama lost New Hampshire by a lot. Bernie Sanders crushed Hillary in New Hampshire and beat Obama. Obama lost by 6 points. Bernie lost by 3 points. Yes. We are right on Hillary, and we are in a much better position than Obama was at this point. So that's some perspective for you. No one has ever won a chess game by playing move to move and only thinking about what the next move is. You win a chess game by thinking 6 moves ahead or more. Ask any musician. Whenever you're playing a song or you're playing a riff, you don't think note to note. You think in terms of phrases. You can't lose sight of the big picture. Now, the way how we deal with this situation is what's going to determine whether or not we'll win the primary or we won't. We have 2 choices. We can give up and give in to self-doubt and self-pity and fear. And we can just surrender, not try. Because why? Why get your hopes up for them to be crushed? Or you can say, fuck all that shit. What do I have to lose? Let me go for it and see what happens. We have to learn from this, and we can learn from this. So over the course of the next couple of days leading up to South Carolina, what we need to be doing is researching why we lost in Nevada and why we lost in Iowa. And what we need to do is come up with a plan and figure out how to prevent this from happening. It's very, very obvious now that the caucus states are going to be the biggest problem that we're going to run into. Because the caucus states are the easiest ones to manipulate. I'm going to post a link in the description of an interview from one of the precinct captains in Nevada, where she's talking about how both her, she was a Bernie precinct captain, and the Hillary precinct captain couldn't turn in the results for their precinct because of the mismanagement from the DNC. Now, I am 100% willing to bet, I have not looked into this, but I'm willing to bet that that precinct that she was and that Hillary captain were representing was a precinct that was polled heavily for Bernie Sanders. We can win this thing, but the only way we'll do it is by learning from the defeats and learning how to prevent them. And I'll give you a quick interesting story. The Desert Fox, I forgot his name. That was his nickname. Famous German commander. I'll probably think of it after a little bit. A famous German commander in North Africa in World War II. He was describing the difference between fighting the American soldiers and fighting the British in tank warfare. And what he said was that the British were always predictable and were relatively easy to defeat. And they never ever learned how to defeat the Panzers. The Americans, on the other hand, yes, the first couple times when they had engagements, they lost. But then they figured out the strategies and they learned. Towards the end of the war, Hitler had started using jets. Now, a jet was, you can imagine, jets versus a propeller-driven aircraft. They were an absolute game changer. And their kill ratio was ridiculous every time when they flew. So what did Americans do? Use strategy. What we did was we would wait for the jets whenever they'd come in for landing or right when they were about to take off. And then we would just swarm and shoot them down then. That's how we learned, because we knew that once those things were airborne, there was no stopping them. We just couldn't catch them. We learned. This is what we need to do now. We need to learn, and we need to prevent this stuff from happening. So don't lose hope and don't panic. Take the night off. Or in fact, no, don't take the night off. Pick up your phone and phone bank. Donate to Bernie. And fight harder. And we will win. Feel the burn.